Nice meeting you all. Very pleased to see such a large turnout for this call. Um, just before I go into the playbook details, wanted to take two slides just to present from more context on from where OpenRefine comes from and the challenges we had. So OpenRefine started in 2008, 2010. So it's quite an old project. And the challenge we had, it changed development model several times. So it's been studied by a startup called MetaWeb Technology as a companion tool for Freebase. And when MetaWeb got acquired by Google, the project incubated for like another 2 years within Google. So it started really with very clear governance on we have a company funding an open source project with dedicated engineer giving the roadmap and giving the governance on the project. 2012, Google removed its support from OpenRefine. The project always been open source, but this time we lost like the two engineers working on the project. And we went from 2012 to 2018 only supported by volunteer. So it was a question of like, how do we rebuild the community? How do we keep attracting new contributors? A lot of hit and miss during that period until 2018 when we start receiving grants and like very large donation. And so we got the first grant from Google News Initiative. We are funded since 2019 by CZI, the Cheng Zuckerberg Initiative. And that pushed us to join Code for Science and Society as a fiscal sponsor. And since then, we run on this hybrid model with a very small team of one full-time developer, me as a part-time project manager, a lot of volunteers, a network of third-party developers, an organization creating and maintaining extension. We have this concept in OpenRefine called reconciliation services, where you can do fuzzy matching against an external data set. So there is connection with Wikimedia Commons, Wikidata. So there is like all those relationships to manage with third party. And a very scattered user community. So we used a lot by librarians, we used a lot by the Wikimedia movement, by journalists, data journalists, and by researcher. Like all those communities work within their own rules. So it's very rare that a librarian is going to help a data journalist on how to use OpenRefine. They all have their custom courses. They all have their specific forums for support and question and training. And that's very little coordinated with OpenRefine. So going through going through the courses, what we identified is really a need for 3 different playbooks. And the first playbook is not even a playbook. It was really updating our website to better present the project governance, better present the history of the project, because people were still confused, even 10 years later, between Google Refine and OpenRefine. People thought like some was different project. People thought I was like not always open source. So really updating our website to improve transparency. Keep enriching our contributor guide. So we have already very good guide if you want to contribute code, but if you want to contribute something else than code to the community, how you do it. If you want to contribute design, if you want to provide more support, if you want to contribute documentation, translation, training, we have like gaps here on how one can engage with the community. And then more selfishly, an operation manual. So we know how we do things and we preserve knowledge as we have other team members coming on. So I'm going to go briefly on the structure of the 3 playbook before touching on socialization. So really what we realized when we build our new website, and like everything with a star are the new pages we created this year, and it's live, and you can view it at openrefine.org. Is a lot of question on who is OpenRefine, like our ecosystem, our relationship with third-party developers, our relationship with those reconciliation services. What are the project roles? What are our governance model? Well, if you came to the website December last year, we didn't present easily those information. Better information on what's our roadmap, what's coming up, what are the news. Roadmap is not published yet. There is more conversation within the community on how we're going to present that. And a lot more on why OpenRefine. What's our mission and vision? What is the project history? And who use OpenRefine today? Those different pages are also very helpful to introduce the project to partner organization. It's also really helpful when you write grants, because you always end up have to explain what's your project history, how you're structured. If I'm looking at who use OpenRefine, it's like presenting the different user community, like academic station presenting like how OpenRefine is relied on by our different user base, and like activities regarding our contributors. That also answers feedback on how can I rely as a user on OpenRefine? Like, is it just a software? Is it just an open source blip that gonna disappear in 5 years and I cannot build on it? Or is it something that's here to stay and that have like a sound governance and sound community? And bringing all those information upfront on the website helps to answer those questions to our community, users, and contributors. The next playbook, which we call contributor guide, is really if you want to contribute back, how you can do it. We already have our developer contributor guide that exists. We have a draft designer and documentation. And that's through the courses, everything we identified as missing. So how you contribute as a trainer, as a user support, and bringing more transparency on how our code of conduct and advisory committee operates. The way we build it is building a big draft in Google Doc. So like that's the 3 playbooks drafted together. And in terms of socialization, I've shared that draft very early on with the community. And what I like here in Google Doc is the ability for anyone to come in and comment on like those pages should relate, like those 2 pages should collapse together. That's the different resources we already have existing. So that really help us having conversation with different community members on how they see the need for content, and really helping to pull all the related link and information together. The last one is our operation manual, which is how you write grant, since that's what sustain our core team. We are part of Google Summer of Code, our Twitchy every year. Like both process, if some of you are part of Google Summer of Code, it's like a very organized internship program. So like what you need to do, what are the important dates, so we don't have to rediscover things each time. Our processes when we hire contractors, they're very useful getting paid. OpenRefine redistribute a lot of its funding to contractors like in micro grants. So we've received like a lot, and we've support also people for travel expenses. So we got like a lot of payment coming in. So you don't want to have to repeat all the information people need to present on their invoice or on their receipt. So documenting that publicly. And then making the list of all the tools we use and how one can gain access, or how we remove access from one person. So that's really day-to-day operational. That right now live in the Google Doc. I think I'm getting personally stuck in Google Doc in the sense that it works here, even if we want to publish somewhere else. Quickly, in terms of socialization, so the way we did it is we are using Discourse as our forum. So very early on, like right at the beginning of the course, right at the beginning of thinking about playbook, I've started sharing and engaging so it doesn't come as a surprise from the community. Sharing the structure early on in Google Doc help to receive feedback and to adjust. I think what I will change moving further is when you start providing content, providing it in small bites. So one page at a time. The mistake of what we did was all those new pages here were like sent as one big review, as one package for the community to review. And it was like just too much for them, knowing we've got like a lot of volunteers. So you can't like expect, you can't put a lot of pressure or like a lot of ask on how fast they can review. And when you got like 6, 7 pages of content that are core presenting the community, like we want like 2, 3 months of discussion back and forth before we can settle on the terms and manage to get feedback from everyone. Next big step for us is in 3 weeks. We have our first in-person contributors event in Berlin. So that's going to be for me a great opportunity to take some part of the playbook and have like mini hackathon to review the content, make suggestion and get some consensus on how we present things. And if there is question, happy to answer them at the end of the call.